Let's take it from the top.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Hi ho everybody and welcome back to D Plus Us Weekly. I'm one of your hosts, Griffin Chanel Griffey D. Patton. With me as always is the wonderful, the amazing Mr. Mitch George. How's it going?
Now in full Technicolor.
That's right, folks. We are recording this in a video format. Oh my god, we have video things set up now. This is weird.
I have to do my hair now and put on pants for recording the show, which I don't enjoy a ton, but...
You don't have to put on pants. We're shot from the shoulders up.
Right, but if I'm not wearing actual pants, and I won't feel like I need to be in the right mindset to be on camera, and that includes pants.
I mean, this is why I go and get coffee before we record. That and to like keep the energy up. Also, like,
no, I mean,
the beanie works well. This is why I wear the beanie.
I know, I've thought about it and chose not to, and now my hair is like, why you no cover me? But it's fine. We're here. We're talking about stealing the Declaration of Independence, sort of, I guess.
That's right, folks. We are talking about National Treasure: Edge of History. This is our next show we're going to be talking about. We are talking about both episodes 1 and 2. Episode 1, I'm a Ghost, and episode 2, The Treasure Map. I'm going to give y'all the synopsis quick, and then we're going to go into full spoilers. But before that, I do want to say we are in video now, like we mentioned. Go find us on YouTube at D Plus Us. If you're listening in the audio, there will be a link in the description. We'll tweet about it. We'll do all the things. Mitch is very
Get it on Hive and Mastodon and Pterodactyl and all the new social platforms.
Yeah, we will be everywhere. We're finally making the video push. I'm super excited. This is actually looking way better than I expected it to look.
I'm so proud of you for putting this together that I feel like I got to find a way to pull up, and then do some work. So I will definitely be trying to do some more things on like the TikToks and where all the kids are doing the things, and you can talk about all the fun Disney stuff as well as, all the other random crap we get into.
Mitch, I have an excuse to make Disney Dreamlight videos now.
I mean, not just an excuse. We have a YouTube. You could just stream it there.
Oh, yeah, true. So, yeah, go check that out. We're going to be doing some fun stuff over there. But, yeah, we are talking about National Treasure: Edge of History. Episode 1, I'm a Ghost. Synopsis goes like this. After meeting a stranger, Jess learns the father she never knew may have been a treasure hunter. Episode 2, The Treasure Map's synopsis is Jess's life begins to unravel as she's plunged into her dad's dangerous world of treasure hunting. Remember, folks, this is full spoilers starting now. We aren't doing plot recaps. We're just hanging out and chatting about this show. Mitch, how do you feel about National Treasure: Edge of History so far?
It is National Treasure. Whether you like it or not, this is National Treasure. It feels like it's from the same, like it has the same vibe as the two Nick Cage films. I know the internet was up in arms that Nick Cage isn't in this. They're not going back. And I feel like remakes or sequels or like nothing on the internet is safe with regards to how people react to it. Where when this was announced, oh, Nick Cage isn't in it, 0 out of 10, won't watch. But if they'd announced it and been like, oh yeah, this is a remake, we're doing a sequel series to National Treasure, and Nick Cage is going to be like, why is Nick Cage doing National Treasure again? He should be going doing other things. It's just like the internet doesn't know when to say, okay, let's give this thing a shot. It's new, it's different, but it's in the same vein as something we already know. Just because it doesn't meet your, quote unquote criteria for what a National Treasure series needs to be, there's no reason not to give it a shot. And I'm glad we're doing that, and we're talking about it weekly. And you and I were talking a bit before we hit record of, wow, there is nothing on the internet about this show. And that's why we're recording it. And that's why we're putting it on YouTube, putting it everywhere. Yeah. Everyone is going to come to D Plus Us. We're going to talk about National Treasure for the next 8 weeks. It is going to be a time. And whether it's a good time or a bad time is still remains to be seen. But at least from these first 2 episodes,
we're going to have a ball talking about this.
I mean, I had fun watching these first 2 episodes. It feels like National Treasure because it's just puzzles and revisionist American history, and also, talks a lot about colonialism.
Like, here's the thing about National Treasure in this show in particular. This show still has like 90% of the problems that the National Treasure shows have. But at this point, it's almost endearing.
It's campy historical revisionist history with puzzles and fake FBI agents and don't trust anybody and a couple of cameos, which, I mean, what more can you ask for from a American history, or I guess this is more North American based, right? Because it's focusing more on a Aztec, Mayan, Inca treasure that was lost years ago. So I do like that they're branching out past just talking about American history, because that was something for me as the resident Canadian on the cast, that I enjoyed the National Treasure movies because I learned a bunch about American history, but American history is really fucked up.
Now, Mitch, did you know that there is, in fact, a treasure map on the back of the Declaration of Independence?
I mean, there was no other reason for Nick Cage to steal it, so I get it.
No, in all seriousness, I really do love how they're using the National Treasure stuff in this one. Like, having the main character be Latinx and, like, I guess the best friends. I guess secondary character? I'm kind of hard to gauge at this current point.
She's one of the leads. It feels like they're also setting up Peter Sadusky's grandson to be a lead as the series progresses, as well as the other two friends, I guess.
But like our main two are kind of Jess and Tasha, I would say.
100%. Yeah, I would agree.
Supporting them, and we're going to have the moment where the five of them, Jess, Tasha, Oren, Ethan, and Liam, go do the thing. They're going to go do the thing. They're probably going to end up. I would bet money they end up at Texas at some point. Because
Texas is a pretty safe bet. I wouldn't be surprised if they ended up in Mexico, and the idea of Jess being an undocumented person it is a major plot point to this point, which of course the internet's like, oh, why are we talking about this? We need to talk about this because it's a problem that needs to be addressed,
like
and people
need point of the show.
Exactly. She like, and it's not even like the most unrealistic thing about this show is that you have an undocumented youth who wants to be an FBI agent. Because honestly, with everything that we've seen over the last few years and the whole, police state y'all are running down there, it's honestly the most unrealistic thing about this whole show is that someone who's an undocumented immigrant wants to be an FBI agent and can't be due to the one major requirement that you need to be a U.S. citizen to be in the FBI. That's really where I draw the line of like, this doesn't make a ton of sense.
I understand like the puzzle solving aspect of like she really likes puzzles. That's about the end of
that could be your whole personality. Let that be your whole personality. That's fine. But the FBI, like, really?
But I appreciate that everyone else is being like, dude, like seriously,
just chill.
Like this is the path you want to go down. Okay, weird choices. But no, I do really like Jess as the main character. I like all of these characters. This is literally just Gen Z National Treasure. Featuring
Harvey Keitel, and you can't go wrong with Harvey Keitel.
Yeah. Although not featuring anymore, because he's dead.
Is he though?
Oh, he's definitely dead.
Is he though?
I think he was like confirmed that he was only going to be in 2 episodes. He is.
No, I think he is too. But it's just it's continuing to be a plot point, especially when we get to this episode, the treasure map, where you've got this new FBI agent, Agent Ross, who's actually thinking there's something behind the girl's story when we go in there. And I actually really love how that scene came together of her interviewing these 2 walk-ins at the FBI office, and it kind of sparking something in her investigatory, brainy nugget
also,
things.
Tasha just casually saving Jess's ass that entire time.
Like it couldn't. We'll. I think we'll talk about it a little more in depth. But I mean, we can talk about it now. Yeah, the whole like, oh yeah, I'm Jane Dover. Like really? Like the writing is so campy, but that is what it was in the first 2 movies too.
Lopez, and it was like, yes, perfect, 10 out of 10. Like I need to remind y'all, this is the movie where they casually went to an Urban Outfitters they needed to blend in.
Yeah. It wasn't totally ad placement in the movie whatsoever.
No, I really like. It's funny. It's like those things that are like campy and stupid. Because there's a lot of this show so far. I'm gonna keep calling it a movie. I'm sorry, folks. A lot of it is super campy and really dumb, but I'm loving every second of it. Like
that's what the movies were. The movies were that too, right? There wasn't anything that wasn't campy about them. That was part of their charm, or at least in the first one. The second one definitely tried to take itself more seriously than it should have, and it kind of
I'm very much getting
fell flat for me a bit because of that.
Like I love stuff like Tomb Raider, Uncharted. I love the Uncharted movie. It's the exact same vibe as this. So like to have this again in these shows is always going to be so fun to me because it's just ridiculous, and like that is the point of watching it. Like I see so many people like trying to take this show seriously, and I'm like, why?
There's no reason. Like
This
it's
is
not
not
a
the show.
serious show.
Like we are all here to have a good time and have some laughs, watch some treasure be found, and just chill.
Watch some puzzles be solved in the stupidest ways of, oh, look, it's a rabbit that wants the sun and it's on the ground. And that worked for some reason.
Mhm. That said, I loved the puzzle solving at the beginning with the escape room.
I did like that. And I didn't clue together that it was an escape room until shortly thereafter when it was revealed. And it was kind of an interesting way to start the show of you set the groundwork of Jess is this brilliant minds puzzle solver, and we see it here. We see it when she's solving the stupid puzzle box where the result or the actual answer makes zero sense. We see it when she gets the job at the bar of how just observant and her attention to detail is out of this world. And that's what you want from a lead in a National Treasure
Dude, project. it's like totally my thing. 'Cause it's one of those things with like these are all very like things that are not difficult to notice, but people just don't put the time and effort into noticing these kinds of things. And like too, it gets played up to a kind of ridiculous degree, especially with the puzzle box, and especially with the escape room. But it's in such a fun, interesting way for this show. Like, I think the escape room was like the perfect way to set the tone for this show, because like it's totally a cliche at this point of like, oh, the kid of the treasure hunter is this like
Brilliant mind.
troublemaking, brilliant person who's constantly ending up in prison and whatnot. And it wasn't that. It was, oh, they're just in an escape room having fun.
Yeah,
Like-
it subverted the expectation you have right off the top of this, but then it does dive a little bit deeper into Jess's family history, the fact she's undocumented, as well as, you know, the whole treasure hunting thing, and that really comes to fruition towards the end of the first episode and is blown apart in the second of, oh yeah, she's got this whole family history of being a treasure hunter, and her mom wanted her to have nothing to do with it because it was the reason her father was killed was because of this treasure. And the fact that they've also got this Liam character who is the grandson of Peter Sadusky, whose father was also killed trying to hunt this treasure. It's just like, it's so camp and on the nose.
And then we have the
But it
twist at the
kinda
end of the
works.
second episode where it's the paper that was
The
never
paper's written
published
by
her
my
grandma.
mom.
Which I thought for sure it was going to be her dad. I thought for
So
sure.
did I. I'm glad it wasn't.
Which I'm like, it makes sense that it would be her mom. But I was like, oh, totally going to be the dad. I love also like all of the secret shit. Like, oh, there's surely there's another secret vault in this bookshelf. No, secret door.
Bum.
Every fancy ass looking library needs to have a secret door. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
those are just the rules.
But even just like the problem or the treasure puzzle solving, I guess, in the first episode at the Masonic Temple, it's just like, why, knowing Peter Sadusky's history with the Masons, why did no one case this place? Why was this thing left untouched?
Well, I
like,
don't think they would be able to. Like, the
she shouldn't have
Masons
been able to.
The Masons could have, but like I think in this case, like the Saduskys were the only people looking for this treasure. Because they
I mean,
much could've set
apparently,
that up.
I mean, but Billy's after it now too, played by Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Well, yeah, but Billy's
so
not a Mason. Billy wouldn't be able to get in. Like Billy
mean, I'm
doesn't know the handshake and whatnot, even though the handshake is like so ridiculously obvious.
Google exists. The problem with this, for me at least, is like the digital resources people have available to them. That photo should have been everywhere. Like it could have been on anything. And that's what gave her the hint that she needed to use the handshake. It's just, there's a certain level of suspension of disbelief when it comes to this sort of thing. And that's just a little too much for me, at least. Especially since we find out later on in episode 2 that Billy, or at least her crew, are like master hackers, quote unquote hackers, because they got past her fight. Okay, you and I are both
I was hoping
programmers
to bring this up.
by trade. So the idea of, oh, I'm gonna hack you. No, we're gonna hack you. Oh no, I got hacked. It's so stop.
Dude,
Just
when
stop,
the screen
please.
shows, when they show that the
It was a
Matrix ads,
screensaver.
I was dying. I love seeing it. Every time I see it, I crack up because
It's so stupid.
It's so unrealistic, but it's so fucking funny.
It's not though. It's funny to
Look,
a
I've
point.
come
But
around on
we're it's 2022. 2023 maybe by the time you're watching this. At the end of the year, the show's just coming out. We're gonna gain steam over the next few weeks. Don't you worry about that. We gotta get over this trope of hackers gonna be hacking and it looks like a Windows 95 screensaver.
Look, I'm sorry, but I have come around on it. I used to hate it, but now I find it utterly hilarious that people just decided this is what hacking looks like. I also love that, like, she pulled out her computer and it was just random ass typing.
Stop.
Not what any of that is, but it's still funny as hell to me. But, like, speaking of the digital stuff, like, I love how they kind of brought the digital age into National Treasure. Like, those first two movies really, like, because of when they were made, didn't have a ton of digital stuff in this. And in this one, it is, like, when Jess is finding Peter Sadusky, it is all digital. It is like, okay, so I didn't recognize this anagram. Oh, this person was a Freemason. Let's find Freemasons within the Baton Rouge area.
The city, yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. Oh, this person had a flag. Let's figure out, like, okay, narrows it down to Peter. Like, that was awesome. I love seeing that stuff.
Yeah, we need more of that. And I think also looking back at those two movies when they were written, they were a product of their times because it was 2004 and 2007 when those movies came out, which makes me feel really friggin' old because I remember seeing these in theaters.
Dude, go back and watch that first one. And, like, I'm joking about the Urban Outfitters very specifically because it's like 2 or 3 rebrands ago for Urban Outfitters.
See, we never had Urban Outfitters up here, so for me it's just like, okay, that's a thing.
Mm-hmm. It's just like, it just screams early 2000s.
Yeah, and like I love that, but it also, I'm hoping we see with the rest of this season and the potential season 2, whatever, if it happens, I want to see them lean more into that. And it does seem like they're setting Tess up to be the character that will learn the most from Riley. Once Riley, I mean, teased in the trailer, he's been in interviews, he's in this show. We don't know to what extent, but he's there from the original movies.
In the rest of the episodes.
Rest of the episodes? Okay. So if he's going to be a major part of this, I can definitely see him taking a bit more of a mentorship role and teaching Tess what he quote unquote knows, because he was the tech guy in the early 2000s. But I will be curious to see if they kind of flip it on its head and really upset anyone who's not Gen Z, because this show is absolutely trying to cater to Gen Z. And if Riley comes in with his millennial ass boomer energy and doesn't understand how the modern computer systems work, and you got Tess here just running laps around him, the internet, if they cared about the show, and everyone should care about the show, it's fun, it's dumb fun.
Mitch, that's exactly what they're going to do.
I really hope they do, because the internet is going to get mad. And I'm going to be so ready for it.
Dude, it was that thing of, like, before we were recording, we were just kind of hanging out, and I was going through some of the user reviews on IMDb, and just laughing my ass off. Because some of these reviews are just, like, so blatantly old-ass white men.
I hate the age that we live. This is going to be a bit of an aside. I hate that we live in the age of user reviews.
Oh, yeah, same.
From mobile app stores to Twitter to IMDb to Metacritic, like all of these platforms, it's not productive. Like, there's nothing good about seeing, oh, this thing got review bombed because it features a lead who is a Muslim Canadian playing a Muslim girl from Jersey, and that is the reason why the internet hates the show. And as another aside, within an aside, go watch Ms. Marvel, because it's awesome.
The best thing.
But it's one of those things of why attack something that somebody else wants to make just because it doesn't align with your specific view on what the product should be. This is the artist's interpretation of those original stories rebranded essentially as a modern tale about this dreamer, about this non-American treasure. Thank God. It doesn't make sense. Like, you look at I'm looking at the IMDb user reviews right now, and the standard deviation on this thing is like a whole bunch of 10s, a whole bunch of middlings, 4s, 5s, and 6s, and then a ton of 1s.
Which is
because
like any
people
user
suck
review.
on the internet. Yeah, it's not useful. It's not productive. Why are we still doing it?
People only review things in one of two cases. Either they vehemently hate it for whatever reason, sometimes legitimate, more often than not legitimate, or B, they freaking love it. Which is why I love talking about this stuff in this kind of format. Because, like, clearly we enjoy the show. We also recognize the show has a lot of issues. But we can talk about that. We can have a good time. We're not putting a number on this shit.
Yeah.
Until
that becomes the meta on TikTok or something, and then we'll be all about it. But
yeah, we will do what we need to do to get views. Don't get us wrong.
Oh yeah. We will farm this thing to the cows come home.
But like, we're still gonna stay true to like we're having a discussion. Like,
yeah.
For what it's worth.
Well, that's why we do this, is because we would rather have the conversation than just say this thing's a 4, story dumb, which is not the case, because it's art. Like, whether it's the finest of fine art to, pop comedy, whatever it might be, it's somebody's work and it's open to interpretation, and everyone is going to have a different perspective on it. I cannot wait till we get to the Percy Jackson series and you and I have different perspectives on that. But even like, you look at the number of reviews, and I'm sure Disney will not talk about the viewership numbers of this show on Disney Plus, because I feel like it's not going to live up to their expectations. That being said, of the 200-ish user reviews on IMDb, there are 2 written reviews by users. 2. So without putting into context why you're saying something is something you enjoy or something you don't enjoy, you got to take it with a grain of salt. And that's why we're here to talk about what we enjoy and what we don't enjoy about the show. And I wish there was more of this discourse around stuff and not just putting a number on it and walking away.
I also wish there was more talk about, like, frankly, like, to put the number on it in kind of a way of like 7 out of 10s. Like, everything has to either be amazing or terrible. This is just good. This is just good and fun. It's good. It has some issues. It's not perfect.
Fine for me, at least. Like, it's an all right product. I will continue to watch it because I'm going to enjoy chatting about it with you. But at the end of the day, it's something like,
I don't think anyone.
Me and my sister grew up. We watched those National Treasure movies so much. It was dumb. But this is something that comes out like, hey, I have a nostalgic itch to watch National Treasure. Hey, there's this show based on that property. I'm going to watch that show, and it's fine for what it is. It's not anything
that going into this expecting this to be this mind-blowing 10 out of 10 show.
No,
like, that's not what National Treasure is. And like, there is room for that in here. Like, looking at like what Disney Plus is offering, there is a lot of stuff that is kind of this good, not great territory. A lot of the stuff they put out is that.
But at least it's good, not great stuff that has a built-in audience to an extent. Because if you look at what other streamers are doing, you look at the Netflix approach of throw money at everything, produce way too much content and see what sticks, to the Amazon approach of throw as much money as you can at the Tolkien estate and then make Lord of the Rings, which no one is talking about at the end of the year, which I should probably get to watching at some point. Maybe. Who really cares? It's interesting to see the different approaches the streamers are taking. You've got I don't know how Apple is doing it, of they're being very picky about the stuff that they're making, yet they ran into some hits with Severance and Ted Lasso.
Amazon feels, or like, not Amazon, sorry. Apple feels like it's being the most conservative with their shows of like, we are going to give people free reign, but we're going to give people free reign on stuff we know is going to do very well.
Have you watched Spirited yet?
I have, yeah. I loved it.
Okay, thank God, because I was going to say, if you haven't, go watch it, because it's a great holiday film.
I was dying at some of the jokes in that.
Dude, Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell can do no wrong, but also that was the case of Apple threw so much money at the two of them to make that movie. More than half of that film's budget was their salaries.
Oh yeah.
So it's one of those things of they're picky, but when they think they've landed on something, they push it, and it's worked moderately well. I am still of the mind that Bob Iger coming back to Disney as the interim CEO until they can name a new CEO is going to end in Disney being acquired or merged with Apple.
It's not.
I'm still adamant that that's going to happen, because it feels like those two ideologies are made to work together.
He has said that they're not doing that.
They've said a lot of things and then done other things. Remember when they said they weren't going to raise the price of the tickets at the parks?
Well, no, like I'm saying, like Bob Chapek, or not Bob Chapek, fuck Bob
Iger.
Chapek. Iger literally came out with these current rumors about that, saying that is not something we are considering. Like, they might consider it in the future. That is always a possibility. But that is not going to happen anytime soon. No one is going to acquire Disney. Disney owns and makes way too much and makes way too much money for anyone to purchase them. Because
I mean, you say that, but there are some wicked, crazy acquisitions going on around the internet these days.
Here's the thing.
From
if anyone buys them, they're instantly getting a monopoly. Because Disney owns that much shit. Disney is just on the edge. And they've always played that game.
Yeah.
Of just being on the edge of being a monopoly.
Yeah, I suppose. It'll be interesting to see what the future of this content holds. It just feels to me like Disney is doing a very interesting thing with their original content on Disney Plus that feels aligned with Apple's vision. They just have the built-in IP, whereas Apple is having to stand stuff up from scratch.
Well, even with some of
that's
the other
really
stuff,
what my final point was on
with
that.
this. Like, I do want to shout out some other stuff here. Of like, we do have a lot of shows that are original that are good but not great. Like Mighty Ducks Game Changers was good, wasn't great. I didn't watch season 2, so season 2 could be absolutely a heaping.
I didn't watch any of it, to be honest. Maybe that's another one that I get into over the holidays and then don't and play more Marvel Midnight Suns.
More related to this, Mysterious Benedict Society is something I personally love, but it's something I recognize that is good but very niche. And that feels like kind of Disney's strategy here, especially along with this one. Like, we talked about how there's like no major actors in this outside of like the cameos we're getting and Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yeah.
Which is like, that is a by design choice. And it's paying off.
It's a way to minimize costs off the top, honestly.
Oh, yeah. And a good way to get these people known. Like, I would bet you that Lisette Oliveira, Zuri Reed, like, all of these people get pretty good work after this is done because they work with Disney. Like, Disney just does that for people.
They've been a springboard for years, right? You go back to the Disney Channel. You go back to the original Disney Channel original movies. Look at the cast of High School Musical and what they did after that. You look at just look at it is
right now.
Exactly. It is this, springboard into other things, and I feel like Disney recognizes that and can build off that with things like the upcoming Percy Jackson show, and then still throw the major IPs at us. Now I know people are kind of burnt out on Marvel, and we'll definitely get into talking about the next Marvel show when that comes out here on YouTube and on all of the various podcast platforms you can catch the show. Yes.
I'm just realizing that we can now change the background to red when we talk about Marvel.
Yeah, we can. Red and gold, baby.
Sorry,
Let's
guys,
go.
We're doing video stuff now, so my video production brain is constantly going off. I'm sorry. You're going to have to get used to this.
No, it feels like they're able to bring in major subscription numbers with Star Wars, with Marvel, with Disney, with Pixar, although the Pixar stuff has still been kind of hit or miss. Also, another tangent. We're going to have to talk about it over the holidays, Griffin. We got to do an episode on Strange World as soon as that drops on Disney Plus. That comes out next week. People go watch Strange World when it drops. I really hope it's the Encanto effect.
We're going to be insufferable about this when it comes out.
Oh yeah, we're not going to be able to shut up about it. It's a great movie. Everyone should watch it in theaters, and when you don't, just
on the day
watch
of release. I'm
Plus.
just going to schedule like tweets for every hour on the hour from the Disney Plus S account that just says "Go watch Strange World."
As you should. I'll retweet all of them. That being said, it does feel like Disney can push their major IP in a big way to push viewership, and then continue to release content that's in the vein of this, where there is a built-in install base for a creator, whether it be a writer, director, musician, whatever, or an IP, or something from Mighty Ducks to National Treasure to something like The Big Shot, which Griffin keeps telling me to watch, and I haven't.
You really should. It's really good.
I
think we've talked about like all these different streaming services today, right? And I think this is a really cool conversation. We totally got off National Treasure. National Treasure,
100%.
Great, go watch it. But this is
I was going to say, we don't have that much more to say. I think we're wrapping up. National Treasure, watch these 2 episodes, come back, talk about it with us weekly. Leave a comment. Yeah, comment or on Twitter. Let us know what you're thinking of this show. We love to interact with all y'all. And then look out for that episode on Strange World in probably a couple of weeks because we've got the holidays in there. I'd still love to do a holiday episode to continue our tradition of that. Maybe Muppets Christmas Carol because I mentioned we're going to watch that tonight.
About doing. we'll probably record that soon if we do that. But no, to bring it back into that conversation before we wrap this up completely.
Yeah.
And I think this is actually probably going to be a video to make of itself. I would love to actually do a deep dive into this.
Let's do it.
But
We have YouTube now. We can do anything.
it is, most of this is just going to require some research on my part. All of these companies are making these shows, right? We're seeing all this stuff right now, and the big issue with it is in fantasy of like you have all this style over substance. Like you have these great looking shows with these awesome casts, but the story just sucks. And we're seeing that a lot. We saw that with House of the Dragon. We saw that with the Lord of the Rings show. Like fantasy, it's a big spot that has this issue. The only place that we're not seeing that is Disney. Disney is still very much going story first with this stuff, and it's because they let their creators create. They're letting Cormac and Marianne Wibberley do their thing with this. And I think that's why we are always so positive about these shows we talk about. Even when we're talking about stuff like Obi-Wan, where we're not super high on it, we're still having a good time watching it and talking about it. Like, I really think that's what we're seeing here, and that's what makes me so excited to talk about this every week. Alongside the cliffhangers, the fun I'm having watching this show. Like, it's just quality story.
Yeah, it knows what it is, it knows what its audience is, and is building out a story or a franchise that's going to cater to that audience. And I think that's totally reasonable to expect in the day and age of quantity over quality of streaming content, where it's not the 1,500 Netflix original movies, which is essentially now the Hallmark Channel original Christmas movie of streaming services, but
Also,
it
where
is
you can watch Pokemon in the United States.
here too, and I plan on doing that because we got that announcement this week. And I definitely watched the first Pokemon movie and cried on Friday. But we're seeing Disney take an approach where they're not overwhelming us with the amount of content, except for the fact that we're getting the Bad Batch that's going to overlap with this. It's going to overlap with The Mandalorian. Like, there's going to be a lot of Star Wars in the new year that we'll talk about here. And we just finished talking about Andor, which I think is a prime example of your previous point of building out something that is made by a creator to tell a specific story. And this definitely feels similar to that. I mean, with a National Treasure spin. But that being said, it is telling the story about what it's like to be an undocumented immigrant, a young person in the United States, and what the ramifications of that are. And if you're not on board for that, then you gotta, I don't know, look in a mirror and evaluate where you are at with regards to, you know, consuming stories that don't necessarily reflect what you look like. That's what I got to say on that.
Everyone should go check out this show. Like that's where we're coming down to it. Like, obviously we're high on this show, and I think this show is only going to get better. So go check it out. Let us know what you think. Come on over to the YouTube channel. Leave us a comment. Come find us on Twitter, whatnot, on Mastodon, wherever we make social medias. Mitch, where can people find us?
We are on all of the platforms at D+Us. What's most important to us right now, honestly, is hearing from you. Do you like seeing this on YouTube specifically? If you do, a thumbs up, a comment means so much. You made it to the end of the episode. And if you're on YouTube, you're awesome because you're here on the ground floor of us doing this brand new thing. Given the lack there of National Treasure content, a thumb up, a comment, just engaging with the content right now means so much to us and puts you in our good books, puts you on Mitch and Griff's nice list for the holiday season. And we'd very much appreciate that. But like I said, at D+Us everywhere for the show. Griffin is all over the internet at Griffy Dpad. That's GriffIDPAD. I am in all the places at Mitch George, or at Mr. Mitch George, sorry. Links at MitchGeorge.com.
Yeah, remember, folks, like there will be a link to our channel in our bio. Please go look at that. I need to make some adjustments. We do have some old episodes up on a separate YouTube channel that I need to take down because this show has gone through a lot of different places.
This is the soft reboot of the show. We are doing the thing on the YouTubes and the Twitters and the TikToks and the Instas and the podcast services of your choice in your ear holes, and we appreciate the reviews, likes, comments, shares on each and every one of those. So thank you all very much for hanging out with us, because we enjoy hanging out with y'all each and every week.
Yeah, we will be back next week with more National Treasure, but we do have other stuff up right now on podcast services. We do have an episode up all about the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. All episodes from here on out will be showing up on YouTube. Maybe some backfill. I doubt it. Those are kind of hard to do, but
There will be technical issues. We're just figuring this out. So please bear with us as we kind of work out some of those technical things. And if you have any feedback for the way the show came together, what it looks like, if you're looking at us on YouTube or Spotify, which I think does video podcast now, we'd love to hear from you. Yeah, we'll talk about it after, but it's a thing. We'd love to hear from you. If you have any positive feedback or constructive criticism, we want to make this thing the best thing for you and for us. So as a viewer or a listener, we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, please let us know. We've given you all the avenues to do it, and we will be checking those pretty consistently because, let's be honest, I can't talk from it. I'm chronically on the internet. It's an issue. I know. All right, we will see y'all in the next episode, but until then, folks, have a magical day.